In a previous video, I suggested that when you're... Oh, sorry about that. In a previous video, I suggested that when you're cutting your slab wood off of the logs that you're milling, that you cut it off in thin little strips rather than taking off one big chunk that you then just burn. And here's one example of what you can do with those thin pieces of slab wood. I'm using this as siding. I'm putting insulation in my shop walls, and I've cut these to length already, so I'm not sure what they call this, but I'm going to call it board on board, I guess. General idea is I'll put pieces up against the wall like so, and I'm going to tack those in with a nail gun, and then on top of the gaps I put other pieces. Okay, so I went ahead and got started, figuring that nobody'd want to watch me putting insulation in, or getting these pieces in the corner that were a little tougher. So that's the basic idea. And you just keep plugging along like that. You're not worried about filling these gaps in, because they are going to get covered up by the next layer. But I imagine that if you have yourself a table saw and a thickness planer, you can make some pretty nice siding out of this stuff. For instance, we have this piece here, which came off the mill with square sides on it, and just with that light sanding that I gave it there, it's a nice piece of board. So we throw that through a mill if you wanted to get it really thin, really smooth, but and the thicknesses would be more consistent as well. But frankly, I think that even just with that light sanding that I gave it there, it's got a nice finish. It's got sort of that barn board look to it without being aged. And you know, you throw some stain or even some paint or something on that, I think you got some nice siding or paneling. I don't know. I think it looks good anyways. Well, we can get carried away sometimes. Prefer to approach things from a more utilitarian kind of perspective. I think there's beauty in it. I think we can get too carried away with making things look just exactly right. You see this whole process moves along pretty quickly. If I was doing this in a house or a cabin or a cottage or something, I might put a little more attention into what pieces go where, because you can see right here, these have got some of the wane on them, or some of the outer edge, that live edge kind of thing going, where these ones here are all quite square. So you have a contrast where all of a sudden it's going, and then we're back to square ones again. So like I said, it's a shot. I'm not going to get too carried away with it. At the end of the day, for me, this is kind of more a proof of concept. I knew it would work. I just wasn't sure how the process would go. So I mentioned at one point when I was starting this thing about this being, I'm calling it board on board. I don't know, there may be an actual proper industry term or name for this. If you know, by all means, let me and others know in the comments. I guess it helps sometimes when everybody's on the same page talking about stuff. Yeah, I don't really concern myself a whole lot with, I don't know, proper terminology. At the end of the day, unless you're having a conversation on the subject, does it really matter what it's called or what I call it? Doesn't affect how it functions or how it looks. I guess now you get all philosophical about that whole thing with the It only has a name if we give it a name. And to take that further, there has to be a consensus. Don't imagine anybody watching this video to hear my opinions on such matters. That's okay, you can just turn it off, I guess. If I'm honest, I'd rather you didn't turn it off, because obviously I put it out there. people to watch. And at the end of the day, that's it. That's used for those thin cuts of slab wood. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe and comment. And thanks for watching.